Here are today's top stories. President Duterte signs the order to place Boracay under a state of calamity during its rehabilitation. The Bureau of Immigration maintains that the order against Australian nun Patricia Fox is the implementation of immigration laws. Baguio City prepares for the construction of its own engineered sanitary landfill and expect heavy traffic in parts of Metro Manila as the construction of the MRT-7 begins. Good day, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom.
Boracay Island has now been placed under a state of calamity by order of President Rodrigo Duterte.
The proclamation is expected to speed up the release of funds for the island's rehabilitation following its closure. Here's a report.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday signed the proclamation placing 3 barangays in the island of Boracay under state of calamity and temporarily closing the world-famous tourist destination for 6 months to make way for its rehabilitation. The state of calamity will take effect in barangays Balabag, Manok-Manok, and Yapak in Malay Island. The temporary closure will be implemented from April 26 to October 25 and will remain in effect until lifted by the President. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the declaration of state of calamity will allow the release of some 2 billion pesos from the Quick Response Fund for the rehabilitation works and to assist workers to be displaced by the temporary closure of Boracay. Duterte signed the proclamation 3 months after he compared the famous holiday destination to a cesspool due to environmental degradation. The Government Interagency Task Force has discovered high concentrations of fecal coliform in the Bolabog beaches due to insufficient sewer lines and illegal discharge of untreated wastewater onto the beach. Other environmental issues that were pointed out include the improper disposal of waste to the sewerage system, violations in the Philippine Clean Water Act by establishments, degradation of coral reefs, and illegal structures. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The Supreme Court says it has not issued any temporary restraining order to stop the closure of Boracay. SC spokesperson Theodore Te made the clarification a day after residents and workers in the island filed a petition asking the High Court for a temporary restraining order or status quo ante order. The SC ordered Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea and DILG Officer in Charge Eduardo Año to file its comment to the petition in 10 days. The petition was filed by Mark Anthony Zabal and Thiting Hakusalem, represented by Angelo Carl Guillen of the National Union of People's Lawyers and resident Odon Bandiola. The 3 questioned the authority of President Rodrigo Duterte to order the closure of the island to tourists and non-residents and accused him of violating constitutional rights to travel and due process. The petitioners claim that the executive branch has no authority to close down the island based on its supposed police power.
The Bureau of Immigration maintains that the order against Australian nun Patricia Fox is a simple implementation of the law. BI spokesperson Antoinette Mangrobang says the order is not due to religious persecution, but in response to a violation of immigration laws. Mangrobang noted that the deportation hearing and the order revoking the nun's missionary visa are 2 different issues. In Fox's case, the Australian nun had violated the terms and conditions of her missionary visa, which led to its cancellation. The deportation case is a separate issue where it would be determined whether Fox is an undesirable alien. On the other hand, Mangrobang said that Fox has to apply to downgrade her missionary visa to tourist visa before she can leave for Australia next month. The BI spokesperson also said Fox's camp is free to exhaust all legal remedies on the matter.
President Duterte is in Singapore to attend the ASEAN Summit until April 28. Duterte is attending the working dinner and ASEAN Leaders Retreat. He is also meeting Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong to discuss how Southeast Asian nations can strengthen community building and advance greater peace, security, and stability in the region. Duterte aims to discuss with fellow ASEAN leaders regional and global threats on peace and security, especially terrorism in the region. He also intends to meet with overseas Filipino workers and make a pitch with the Singaporean investors to set up businesses in the Philippines. In his departure speech at the Davao International Airport, President Duterte vowed to engage Southeast Asian partners to achieve the change needed through ASEAN Vision 2025. The president committed to promote the further implementation of the ASEAN Consensus on the protection and promotion of the rights of migrant workers. Duterte also vowed to use ASEAN as a venue to uphold and protect the rights of Filipinos working abroad.
Malacanang congratulates the current batch of law graduates who passed the 2018 bar exams. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the palace hopes that the country's new lawyers would pursue a career in government and participate in creating genuine reforms. Roque pointed out that the bar passers are most welcome under the Duterte administration. The Supreme Court said 1,724 out of 6,748 examinees passed the bar exam, posting a passing rate of 25.5%. Mark John Simondo from the University of St. LaSalle Bacolod topped the exam with a score of 91.05%.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shook hands at the military demarcation line at the demilitarized zone in a historic meeting between the two countries since the two states split up in the 1950s. The two leaders crossed through North Korea's border, after which they entered South Korea's side, making Kim the first North Korean leader to do so in years. The two held their meeting in the truce village of Panmunjom, with Kim calling for frank discussions between the two countries. North Korea has begun adopting a conciliatory tone after previously provoking international attention for its development of nuclear weapons and tensions with South Korea and the United States. Observers expect the meetings to foster a long-sought peace in the Korean peninsula.
Still to come, Baguio City prepares for the construction of its own engineered sanitary landfill. Lawmakers fall off a bridge while inspecting a housing project. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Namigay ng 11 bongo drop-side trucks at 5 mobile rice mill ang Department of Trade and Industry bilang Subcommittee on Business and Livelihood ng Task Force Bangon Marawi sa pakikipagtulungan ng local government unit ng Marawi City at probinsya ng Lanao del Sur. Ang nasabing rice mill at bongo trucks ay ipinamahagi sa 12 aktibong kooperatiba ng mga pawang na IDP sa Lanao del Sur. Ang nasabing okasyon ay dinaluhan ng DTI Assistant Secretary Abdul Gani M. Makatoman at TFBM Field Office Manager Asik Felix J. Castro Jr. Nagpadala rin ng representante ang LGU Marawi at Province of Lanao del Sur sa katauhan ni Sultan Kamid Gandamra at Attorney Faisal Kali. Ayon kay Makatoman, layunin ng DTI na maipagkaloob ang mga pangangailangan ng mga IDPs upang maipagpatuloy ang kanilang kabuhayan habang kasalukuyang tinutugunan ng gobyerno ang iba pang hinaing ng ating mga kababayang biktima ng Marawi Siege. Dagdag pa ni Makatoman, naway itong ipinamigay ng DTI ay makatulong sa kanilang pagbangon muli. Malaki naman ang pasasalamat ni Mamintal Aksaran Alauya ng Propaganda Farmers Producer Cooperative sa kanilang natanggap. Malaking tulong umano ito sa kanilang kabuhayan. bayan. Samantala, kasabay ng pamimigay ng rice mill at trucks, namahagi rin ang DTI ng 652 love boxes sa mga grade school at high school students ng MSU LNCAT na tinawag na My Dream in a Shoebox. Ang My Dream in a Shoebox ay may nilalaman ng mga school supplies. Ito ay isang outreach campaign ng IBPAP at Team Asia sa pakikipagtulungan ng DTI. Para sa bayan, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is extending its special assistance for entities who will take part in the government's Build, Build, Build infrastructure program. Here's a report.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Monetary Board has approved a separate single borrower's limit for special purpose entities or SPEs that will take part in the government's Build, Build, Build program. To date, banks and quasi-banks have single borrower's limit of 25% of their net worth. With the latest MB decision, SPEs are given their own separate single borrower's limit because of the independence they usually enjoy under project finance schemes. Under these schemes, SPEs are ring-fenced by appropriate legal structures, operational setup, and controls so that assets and cash flows of SPEs remain separate from those of their sponsors, shareholders, and other related parties. The board said loans to be extended to these special entities would be subject to certain conditions to ensure effective risk monitoring and management, and these loans should be in line with the government's priority programs and projects. Standard prudential controls like pledges of borrower shares, assignments of borrowers' assets, revenues, cash waterfall accounts, and project documents must be ensured by the banks. The central bank said these prudential controls should also cover loans extended to the SPE subsidiaries and affiliates involved in project finance activities. The BSP also said starting June 30 this year, banks need to submit more detailed reports on their real estate exposures, including project finance loans. This will aid the BSP in crafting more informed and calibrated policy decisions in areas that require careful supervisory action. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
The Philippines and the United Kingdom are coming together to develop the Dumangas port in the province of Iloilo. Sea Asia Logistics Philippines is seeking to develop the port into a modern international container terminal. British Chamber of Commerce Philippines Chairman Chris Nelson says SLPI executives are able to meet Iloilo Governor Arthur Defensor Sr. to present their vision for upgrading the port. The Iloilo local government has reportedly shown an interest in developing the Dumangas port into an international container terminal that can accommodate a larger number of bigger vessels. Currently, there are 10 roll-on, roll-off ships servicing the Negros Island and Cebu City routes, among other locations. Nelson said SLPI's interest in the development of the Dumangas port reflects UK's company support for the infrastructure program of the government.
Baguio City will have its own modern waste facility soon as the local government prepares for the construction of the road leading to its proposed location. Mayor Mauricio Dumogan revealed the envisioned road from Baguio to the planned engineered sanitary landfill or ESL in Itogon, Benguet is estimated to cost 31 million pesos. The city government of Baguio is looking to build its own ESL in a 24-hectare land owned by the mining firm Benguet Corporation. The company offered the use of its open pit called Antamak 440 in Itogon, Benguet to help address the garbage problem of Baguio City and its neighboring towns. The documents for its use will be signed in a simple formal ceremony between the city government and Benguet Corporation. The city government is asking the Environmental Management Bureau to exclude the proposed site from the declared Upper Agno River Watershed Protected Area. Dumogan said establishing Baguio's own modern waste facility is one of the city's priorities.
The Pangasinan Provincial Health Office reports a 30% increase in leptospirosis cases in the first few months of this year. 26 cases of leptospirosis have been recorded from January to April as compared to 20 cases in the same period last year. 15 cases were reported in January, 7 in February, 1 in March, and 3 in April. SUA leads the health office's watch list with 4 cases, followed by Manawag and Lawag with 2 cases each. 4 fatalities have also been recorded. Leptospirosis occurs when the bacteria coming from the urine of animals get into the body through open wounds. The symptoms of leptospirosis are high fever, yellowing of the skin, muscle pains, and yellowish urine. The health office advises those who wade in waters or soil to wear foot protection at all times. Workers should also regularly wash parts of their body submerged in mud or water.
A wooden footbridge collapsed during the inspection of a housing project in Barangay Rio Hondo, Zamboanga City. Mayor Breng Climaco was standing on the walk path with Congressman Celso Lobregat, Congressman Albi Benitez, and staff at the National Housing Authority when the incident happened Thursday morning. None of the officials or their companions were injured. Congressman Benitez, also the chairman of the Committee on Housing and Urban Development, was in Zamboanga to inspect several housing projects by the local government of Zamboanga. He said the bridge was substandard and that those behind its construction will be held accountable. Up next, heavy traffic in parts of Metro Manila as the construction of the MRT-7 begins. Diplomats from the European Union go on a bike tour around Palawan. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
This thick, slimy algae is seen turning the crystal waters of Boracay green. On April 26, environment officials, volunteer groups, and local residents joined hands to clean the algae that blooms in the shores of Boracay. DENR workers used nets to trap this green algae. Environment experts say the massive growth of algae in the island is caused by untreated wastewater. The government vows not to just rid off Boracay shorelines with algae, but restore and clean wetlands and marine reserves in a bid to restore Boracay's beauty. In Malaya Clan, heavy equipment roll into Boracay. The Department of Public Works and Highways commences its rehabilitation works. DPWH personnel demolished those portions of establishments encroaching on the easement. Dump trucks, loaders, and backhoes are used to clear road obstructions and repair drainage systems on the island. It's day one of Boracay's closure, and government agencies vow to push for a relentless drive to bring back Boracay's glory. Rom Dulfo, Philippine News Agency.
The Metro Manila Development Authority warns motorists of heavy traffic as the construction of the MRT-7 goes in full swing next week. The proposed underground guideway of the MRT-7 system will be constructed along North Avenue to Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City starting May 1st. MMDA Deputy Chairman Frisco San Juan Jr. said 2 lanes along North Avenue will be closed for 8 months. The whole stretch of Regalado Highway from Mindanao to Commonwealth Avenue will be closed starting May 6 from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The westbound lane of Regalado Highway will be closed starting April 30th. The MRT-7's private contractors will also construct its Tandang Sora station along the intersection of Tandang Sora Avenue and Commonwealth Avenue on May 1st. 3 lanes on the northbound and southbound stretch of Commonwealth Avenue will be closed. The construction of an elevated guideway, demolition of existing flyover, and provision for future north and southbound flyovers will last for a year. Alternate routes are being considered by the MMDA, Quezon Avenue, Congressional Avenue, and Visayas Avenue.
The National Food Authority has opened the bidding process for the importation of 250,000 metric tons of rice through the government-to-government scheme. Vietnam and Thailand, who have existing rice trade agreements with the Philippines, were among those expected to participate in the bidding. The winning bidder will be given 4 days from April 30 to May 4 to issue a performance bond, followed by a notice to proceed on May 7, after which importation may begin. The NFA assures the imported rice will be distributed to markets that need rice supplies the most. These will be made available especially to poor families at 27 to 32 pesos per kilo.
European Union and other member state ambassadors ride their bikes through Palawan as part of Viva Europa 2018. The Provincial Information Office said that the bike tour, dubbed as Sikad Palawan, promotes bicycling as an illustration of a healthy and climate-friendly lifestyle. The envoys will go on a bike tour from El Nido through the municipalities of Taytay and Rojas and finally to Puerto Princesa, spanning 200 kilometers starting today until April 28. The diplomats would meet with local communities and representatives of the business sector along the way. Sikad Palawan is considered as an offshoot of the Pajak Para sa Kalikasan, a yearly bike tour to Irawan watershed in Puerto Princesa held at the sides of Sina Europa. Viva Europa 2018 is being held this month in Palawan to showcase Europe's culture and heritage.
A coffee artist is teaching children how to paint and appreciate art.
He says learning art will help them in school and give them skills to nurture in life. Here is our report.
While some volunteer groups push for the provision of technology to enhance education in far-flung areas, coffee artist Renato Tuzon promotes the teaching of the arts to develop skills in students that can help them excel academically. Tuzon said that painting cultivates reasoning among learners, an important skill which helps students understand their lessons in a logical way. Tuzon said painting enhances creativity and interpersonal skills in students as well. These are important when students are accomplishing group projects or tasks as a requirement in passing a subject. Since a lot of effort and time are spent in completing a single painting, Tuzon said students develop passion in accomplishing something worthwhile. He added that painting brings young people closer to the environment and its proper care and preservation. Tuzon established Sining Caravan, a group of visual artists who aims to help young people embrace the value of art education back in September of 2015. Members of the group travel around the country to teach the basics of visual arts like painting and photography for free. Tuzon had his first solo exhibition in 1997 called Angel, which was held at the 70s Bistro and Art Space along Anonas Avenue in Quezon City. He reinvented himself and used coffee as a medium for painting, thus the title Bohemian Coffee Artist. His coffee artworks have made it to the Roconte Mue Le Café exhibition in Paris, France on March 31 to April 2, 2017. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. been terribly hot lately.
It has. Humid and very hot, more than usual.
So any tips for our viewers, on the heat?
Well, keep yourself hydrated, stay indoors, or if you have to go outdoors, I think at a time where the heat is not too sweltering.
I have one tip.
Okay,
Sleep like an Egyptian.
which is?
Have you ever heard?
I've heard walk like an Egyptian. But
Sleep like an
on
Egyptian.
How's
Okay,
that?
so you just put like a dry mantle, but your blanket is a bit, damp in water, so it's not too hot at night.
Okay.
That's
okay.
apparently how they sleep.
Oh, okay. So it's got a little moisture.
Yes.
Okay, that's something new. Okay, good.
Let's beat the heat. So let's take another look at today's top stories. President Duterte signs the order to place Boracay under a state of calamity during its rehabilitation. The Bureau of Immigration maintains that the order against Australian nun Patricia Fox is the implementation of immigration laws. Baguio City prepares for the construction of its own engineered sanitary landfill. And expect heavy traffic in parts of Metro Manila as the construction of the MRT-7 begins. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter.
For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news
And information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato.
And I'm William Theo. Good day.